So last night, Brutal did a video, live chat, and I missed it. And first thing this morning, I got up, 4 o'clock, whatever, like I do every morning, and went to work. Got to work, got down, sat down, got my coffee, saw the notification on there, and I missed the live feed. I was like, well, let me turn it on my phone in the background while I'm getting my shit together. And, man, he calling me out. He called us all out. Nah, it was an awesome motivational speech. That we can do this shit. Like, I'm not a mechanic. I'm a CAD guy. I do drafting. I've been playing with cars my whole life. Playing with motorcycles, skateboards, bicycles, fixing stuff in the house, whatever I can do. And ever since YouTube has, since I started looking stuff up on YouTube a few years back when I didn't know how to do something, and found out that people were actually taking time to show other people how to do stuff. And man, like, it just blew my mind that I don't have to buy a Chilton's manual and sit down and flip page and page, and oh, you got the 4-cylinder model and this one's 8-cylinder, so flip to page 76 and then go to section 2. And nah, man, there's guys out here that'll tell you exactly how to take this car apart and put it back together. And that's what I've done. So we bought this car back in July or whatever. Guys, I said it before probably, and I know nobody watches my videos. I don't have any subscribers really, but I'm a Chevy guy. I grew up Pontiac. My first car was a 79 Pontiac Firebird, 301. It couldn't get out of its own way. And I worked on it. I swapped the engine, made a ton of mistakes, learned a lot of lessons, did it all, me and a couple buddies, and we were 16, 17 years old, had no clue what we were doing. And then, as I grew up, I was always just doing brake jobs and tune-ups and things like that, just to save money and to save money for friends. And then I started getting into the newer cars and running into, issues with the way it ran or whatever, and I'd have to take it to a shop, and I would spend $1,500 and then drive it off out of the parking lot, and the thing's doing the same damn thing, and I'd take it back again. And like, I just got tired of that. I had a 98 GMC Sierra 1500 Z71, and I was having a problem with the air conditioner. It would blow freezing cold air. It looked just like this, but it was the older model. And I'm just kind of walking around the shop bullshitting. And the air conditioner, like, it was blowing freezing cold, and then all of a sudden it would blow hot, and then blow freezing cold. And it worked. It was working fine. Well, I used to take my dogs with me everywhere I went. And I had 2 sets of keys. I would leave them, I would only take them with me if I was running into the store for 5 minutes or whatever, And I would lock the car, leave it running, air conditioner on, windows cracked, and run in the store, come back out, jump in, take off with my dogs or whatever. And I come out, I ran into a store. It was supposed to take me 5 minutes. I got hung up. It took me about 20 minutes. Now my garage is a wreck. And I come out, man, I opened the door. It must have been 130 degrees in that truck. Full blast heat. The dogs were like heat exhausted, looked like they were going to die. And I was like, that's it. I can't do this. So I took the truck to a Chevy dealer. Well, it used to be a Chevy dealer, and now it was like a private shop now. And I said, hey man, something's wrong with this truck with the air conditioner. It's like something's flipping a switch. I didn't know anything about air conditioning. Never touched it. And was always kind of told, don't mess with it. Leave it to the professionals. And, so the guy says, your compressor's bad. You need a compressor. Okay, put a new compressor in it. I don't know what it was, but I pull out of the parking lot, heat comes on. I turn around, go right back. It happened 3 times They replaced every goddamn part in that air conditioning system in that truck. Charged me, I think I was $1,500 in. And finally, the last time when they fixed it, the guy goes, you know what it was? It was a high-low pressure switch. And I was like, are you serious? Like, you're telling me that I told you what was wrong with the truck, and you're now telling me what I told you? Something's wrong with this picture. I said, where's all my old parts that there was nothing wrong with them because my air conditioner worked great? Oh, that stuff's all been thrown away. So I spent $1,500 for an $80 switch installed. So from that point on, I was like, that's it. If I can't figure it out, then I'm going to figure it out. Or I'm going to watch, I started watching videos. I happened to take my GTO. I had an 06 GTO, and I needed a key made. And you have to have it programmed. So it took about 8 months for the dealership to get me the key. And I take it in to get the key programmed, and I see there's a blue GTO sitting in the parking lot. Well, the guy comes out. He says, here, got your car, programmed. Here's your keys. And we started bullshitting. And I said, man, whose car is that? And that's my GTO there. Well, we've been best friends ever since. 10 years now. So it doesn't hurt having a best friend that's a GM tech. So he helped me when I bought this truck. He's the one that told me, if you're going to buy one, buy a 2500. I don't need a diesel. And I've had this truck for 7 years, and it's rusting to shit, but it fires right up every time. Now, he would have told me not to buy this, but everything I've learned, everything. This is my second BMW. My other one, my girlfriend's son has now. I tore that whole engine apart, put it back together, all by watching YouTube, ordering parts from Rock Auto, Amazon, FCP Euro, and then so I'm like, if it's possible, it can be done. And my girlfriend's got a Honda. My stepdaughter's got my old Honda out here. I've done all kinds of work to that car. It's got 260,000 miles on it. Runs like a top. And I just keep trying to maintain all these vehicles. Well, I've owned 60 plus cars in my life. I got my first car when I was 14. And I started driving my dad crazy when I was about 11. I wanted a Camaro, a Nova, Firebird, something, and so finally I worked, I had money in the bank. My dad bought me my first car, and I know why now. So he had control over where I went, what I did, what time I came home, what I did to the car, what I didn't do to the car. I didn't get to do anything I wanted to that car until I was 17, and he finally just gave up and said, yeah, do whatever you want, man. You're on your own now. But so I've had 3 Fords in my life. I always had a thing for notchbacks. Just something about this car. Back in high school, I had my Firebird, and I did all this work to it. Rebuilt the engine, did the transmission, rear end, headers, exhaust, everything. Took it down. I live in Maryland. Took it to Cecil County drag strip. Car went a 15.8. I was like, what the hell? Like, it's slow as hell. I go down Main Street, and my buddy pulls up. Guy, I know him a little bit through my girlfriend. Pulls up in a 93, I think it was a 93, LX notchback that he leased. And did gears, pulleys, nitrous, I don't know. But took me for a ride in that car. Scared the shit out of me. And he was running 10.8s. Said everybody has a story about the Mustangs, which is why I really am enjoying watching all these guys' channels. Brutal, Chris from Infamous Project, Gary, Castle Customs, the the Fox Chamber, like a lot of these guys, I don't know their names. I watch all their videos. Like I binge watch the hell out of this stuff. And that's how this happened. And I have torn this car completely down, rewired the whole dashboard, all the plugs, redid all the interior. The reason the interior is not back together is because I pulled the quarter windows, so I can fix those. Like everything's already refinished, ready to go back in, but can't put it all back together without putting the quarter windows back in. So I'm going to end up painting all this stuff. I got all the parts to redo the doors. We're going to pull the doors off, do the pins, paint the door jambs, paint the doors properly, replace all the rubber and everything. But so yeah, man, I just itching to get off of work today. Said Brutal made this video and said, you know what, get up off your ass and get out there and do it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this damn car running this weekend. It hasn't fired up in, I don't know, since the end of summer. I haven't started it because when I started ripping the interior apart, I had to pull air conditioner shit off. I cleaned up a bunch of wiring, did little painting. Of course, I don't know what to do over here. I'm not even going there. I'm going to deal with that later. But because the car ran and drove great, it rattled and stuff, but the engine was immaculate, like perfect. So I'm trying to put it back together. It didn't have the heat pipe installed. It was capped off with some pieces of piping, copper pipe and stuff. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but they had that off, had the lines turned off or cut off or whatever. So the air conditioner worked, but it wouldn't shut off. And I'm like, this was the condenser. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to replace it. There's all the lines. So I got all new stuff to go back in. This hose down here was leaking. So, well, might as well replace thermostat, housing, water pump, all this stuff. Like, this was the water pump I pulled off of this car. And, you know, RTV is cool, man, I guess. Like, especially when you use all of it. I mean, I was flushing RTV out of the holes, out of the radiator, out of the ports. It was just pouring out. Like, they just RTV the shit out of everything. So, but that's where I'm at. This is already at 15 minutes of me bullshitting, but I'm gonna get this thing running, hopefully. If it doesn't start, I'm gonna look like an idiot, but I'm not gonna record it all. I will record starting it up and go from there, but I'll try to do the cold start and we'll see what happens. But that's where we're at right now, and I'll be back in a minute. So this is day 2. Got everything all put back together and ready to fire. So I started filling the radiator up with water just to make sure I don't have any leaks. Well, of course, I have never had a problem getting a thermostat housing and a thermostat to seat. Like, never with a GM, never with a Honda, nothing. This Ford stuff, I don't know. I mean, of course, it's in a ridiculous spot. The thermostat doesn't fit perfectly in the housing. It wobbles around, so you have to put RTV on it. I saw on it was OG Superfly's video. He got this reusable gasket. This is the first one I put on. It's just cut all this stuff out. It's a Mr. Gasket. Reusable thermostat housing, Ford 302. Well, this thing was a piece of junk because the coolant just gushed out of the bottom of the housing. So I thought, well, maybe I got the thermostat in on the wrong side. So undid it, flipped the thermostat, or, you know, flipped the gasket to the other side, put it back on, coolant gushed out all over the place. So took everything back apart. I had a Felpro. Luckily I have a couple gaskets. One came with the thermostats, one came with the water pump or something, I don't know. I had a Felpro gasket. Put that on, put RTV on everything, just, you know, a nice thin coat. Put it all back together, let it sit for about an hour. Poured water in here, and it's dripping out the hole, or right under that bolt. Just drip, 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 drip. Took it all back apart again, re-siliconed everything, and I'm going to let it sit here for, I don't know, an hour or so, or whatever. I don't know how long. I'll have to read the stupid RTV and see how long it takes to set up, but that's it. Like, that's all. I'm going to tinker with other stuff, but like, I'm ready to fire this car back up. Temporarily, I just threw the catch can in because, I don't know, every other car I had, the catch can always had a breather on it. And for some reason, this car, the catch can that was in it, which is this thing down here, I had, which is this big ass thing, and it was just kind of hanging there because there's really nowhere to mount it. I took this cap off and put a breather on it, figuring, I mean, that's what it's for. And the car wouldn't run right. So I'm assuming it has to have a vacuum on it at all times. So I bought a catch can off of Amazon. It did come with the breather, but I'm not putting it on there. I'm just leaving it sealed. And I guess when they removed all of the EGR and emission stuff, I assume that this is the vacuum line that runs all the way to the gas tank or to the back of the car. And it had one of these filters on it. It was all nasty and stuff. So I just took the one off of there and stuck it on here. And like, I gotta figure that out. I guess it's okay. The car ran great. So, but yeah, you got to pull the tensioner back off to get the stupid thermostat housing off. And what a pain in the ass. Like, why not just put it on top like everybody else? But just my Ford gripe, I guess. You know, I'll be back when we go to start it. So I'm back. I can't take it no longer. I've been waiting about an hour and a half to try to let the RTV set up. I'm not going to fill it more with coolant. I just need to know. I'm going to let it sit overnight, but I just need to know that this thing is going to start. It hasn't been run in, I don't know how to do the YouTube thing, set up the camera and all that stuff. I don't have a whatchamacallit, GoPro. I'm just using my phone. This will be the first time I've ever actually been on camera, if you can see me. And I'm very handsome, so that's why I don't put myself on camera. I don't want to be harassed for my good looks. But here we go. I'm going to see if this thing will fire off, and then I'll probably shut it right off, but just driving me crazy. Besides mine. Oh, I'm not sure what that noise is. possibly this, whatever they call this thing here, because I switched it because I kind of cracked the other one with a wrench. But, well, that's enough for today. I'm done. I can't take no more. Thanks for watching. Well, back running. I let it run for a little bit to get the thermostat, I guess, to open up. And it was running about 180, which is I put a 180 degree thermostat in it. I got the fan on because I don't know if it's the no cats or if it needs to be tuned. I don't know, but this thing reeks. The exhaust fumes are horrible. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm back. It's running, thankfully. I can't believe it. I can do this. There you go, man. Get shit done. And I got a squeal from one of these pulleys. I'm assuming it's probably the AC compressor, which is the only thing I didn't replace on the system. So I didn't charge it or anything, so I may end up just replacing it. I was just trying to avoid spending any more money on this car until I know that it's good to go. But yeah, I got all these parts sitting out here that got to go back in the car, but I got to get the windows done first. But it's coming together. At least it's running. I'm excited. I was worried messing with the harness and moving all these wires out of the way and rewrapping stuff, and of course there's a whole lot I still want to do to clean it up, but I can do that down the road. And I was afraid if I touched too much stuff and it didn't start, I wouldn't know what I did to make it not run. So for now, I'm good with it. I'm just gonna go back to doing the body work, get the quarter windows done, get everything painted. But yeah, it's coming along. We're getting there. So thanks, Brutal, for giving me the motivation to get my ass out here and get this thing running. Like I said before, I'm no mechanic.